Greetings. Hey, it's Susie Q. We're working with, again, more about the subconscious mind. And I did a video the other day, and it was about the yoga nidra, and it's yogic sleep, and you have the Sankalpa. And so when we're working with the subconscious mind, it's kind of like running the show, and you're kind of a blur with it because you're like, I don't know exactly what's happening, but I keep doing the same thing over and over again, and I know that I want to go deeper and go more, be more creative, but I'm kind of like stuck like Chuck. And so, but when we work with the Sankapa, it is a intentional practice. You can probably go to YouTube, get a yoga nidra meditation. The sankalpa will come through there, and it's really about what your intention is. And we've talked about this before, but I really look at the subconscious mind and start working not only with the yoga nidra or just feeling lighter in the body or whatever, but the more that you reinforce and or maybe it's not reinforcing. I keep using that word. I don't know why I do that, but I think it's like when you're working with the yoga nidra with the sankalpa, which is an intention that is not immediate. It could be up to 6 months or maybe 18 months or 2 years. Is that you start kind of you start acknowledging all of the different steps that got you to the place that you want to be. Maybe you're in a place where you're not exactly 100% right, and you want to do something different, but you're not able to do it. The more that you go into what we call the sankalpa, it's kind of like you start going into like a meditative state and just imagining what you really do want. And you could even close your eyes, and yoga nidra is like yogic sleep, but you need to be awake. You need to be awake and aware at some level about the Sankalpa. And so the Sankalpa is a great energy because it's reminding us about what we do want. And again, it's not an overnight miracle, but it could be 6 months to maybe 18 months or 2 years. And so what you do with a Sankalpa is you just start acknowledging what you want. And then you might start, acting as if, let's just say you're going to be on a stage. You really want to do some lectures. You really want to have more things to share with people. And you might just start acknowledging that, what date it will be when that lecture is, what time and where would it be or what would it look like. You start just really kind of like, it's almost like if you're going to go to a party, you got to get dressed, you need to get excited and happy and joyful and then have a good time and all of that. But even with a sankalpa, whatever it is that you're creating, so let's just say again, like you want to be a lecturer, and you want to have a really nice, beautiful auditorium. Then you start kind of going through that process. What would it look like, or what would it be like if I was that lecturer? And then you might just start going, well, I think if I want to be a lecturer, I should start doing small lectures. And you might go think about a place where you could go. You could go to, I'm up here in sunny Scottsdale, so there's a lot of different places, for senior people or whatever. But whatever kind of networking groups or whatever is, you can start lecturing there. So, but when you go into the Sankalpa, you see yourself already dressed to go in to this big auditorium, and you know exactly the clothes that you're going to wear. You have your special friends that are going to be with you, supporting you. It may be in where you live, or it could be in another state, or it could be in another country. Wouldn't that be amazing if you had it was in a different country, a beautiful place? And you just keep focusing on what you do want. What is the next thing? And then the more that you visualize everything in entirety, even like your breath work, like you start, breathing more, just more beautiful breath of life, that's coming through the Sankalpa, is you just start noticing, okay, so I'm lecturing in Australia. Wow, it's so far. And then you start thinking about, who's going to come with me and where is it going to be, and you start just really just start engaging with it, like, okay, this is where I'm going to stay, and this is the auditorium. I'm going to walk up right now. I'm walking up to the auditorium. I got to have an access to go in there and see what it really feels like to be on the stage. And then oh God, I feel so light. It feels so encompassing of so much goodness, from my lifetime and all the things that I've achieved with some of the work that I do. I'm here on the stage, and it's all quiet right now. It's all quiet. And then I just noticed that there's a lot of seats there. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be there. wow, really nice. And I feel safe up here. I feel safe and I feel engaged to really do a lecture or do some sort of a gift or some sort of acknowledgement. But I just, just really focus on I'm going to Australia and I've got my team with me and I've got my outfit. I've got the most beautiful outfit. It's so beautiful. I love it. And I'm really acknowledging myself that I actually go for it, that I actually go for it. And so some of these things through the Sankalpa, through the Yoga Nidra, which is yogic sleep, is really this beautiful band of energy. It's about an hour-long yoga nidra meditation that we did back in Houston. And I used to do that, and I loved it, And I even remember some of the sankalpas that I did back in Houston when I was becoming a yoga teacher. So it was really, really interesting. But the more that you go deeper into some people think, well, I'm just going to do like a linear thing. I'm like, A is like go to, get a booking for Australia. But when you start working with it, it's like more like mind mapping. It's like all this stuff is kind of coming in and it's creating more senses of lightness, because sometimes if you're like really going for it and going into something deeper that you've never done it before, you start kind of noticing that some of the energies are helping you, and that Sankalpa or the Yoga Nidra is a great way to kind of access, like, what would it be possible if all those seats were filled with these beautiful people and they're just listening and they're smiling, and sometimes I'm laughing on stage, or maybe they're laughing with me. All of these things are showing up. And so when we're working with the subconscious mind is really kind of running the show in a way, right? Or you could say, I'm going to take this little subconscious, I'm going to put it in a jar, and I'm going to put a lid on it. so that when we start looking at that, then we already know that the subconscious has already been, it's done. It's done for that experience. And so then you start working with creating what you do want. What's the next best thing for you? I just did a video and I was thinking about the constitution for a person. So you're working with the subconscious and you want to have a better experience in your life. Well, what is your constitution? What does it look like? What does it feel like? What do you experience with it? Or how easy can it be to have some of these beautiful engagements or opportunities to set aside the subconscious, put it in a jar, put the lid on top of it, and just put it someplace else, or throw it out the window. No, I'm just kidding. Subconscious has some purposes, but for myself, I don't really resonate with that. I just know that the subconscious is kind of like patternings and loops and different constructs and different things that we've done before and over again, like repetitive stuff. But when we move from the subconscious mind and going into a different state of consciousness, that here I am now, people. And so you start feeling, wow. So if the subconscious is in a jar and I put a lid on it and I put it someplace else, what else can I do now? How amazing and how cool could it be that I could just start operating as if I'm perfectly incapable of doing whatever I want to do. I can create at will. I love the miracles in the field. I love my life. I love creating new content. Even with little Susie here, she loves doing videos. And so the videos have been really interesting and fascinating. And even with the capacity to share the videos, is that I kind of thought it was going to be a legacy for my children and grandchildren and future great-grandchildren. But I think for me, I love sharing at this level. I've been through all these different processes and understandings, and I've had all these lessons, so many lessons, right? A lot of lessons for Susie. And at this point now, Susie doesn't have those big bands of lessons. And also with divine purpose, all of this is working for us. So let's just say if you are going to go to Australia and you're going to be a lecturer there, you're going to have your team, you're going to have all the seats filled with beautiful people just watching you and observing and noticing that, that you can do this. So when you start really going, can I do this or can I? I mean, it's crazy. What's wrong with crazy? Or what is it about your constitution that says do it? Just do it. If you want to do something different, just do it. It's kind of like Nike, right? But you just go in and you jump into something. And maybe something, when you jump into something new, your constitution might just say, okay, we're going to jump in over here. But then what we find is that there's something even better than what you even conceived of for yourself. And that's what the subconscious does. It kind of is, it's still in the jar. It's got the lid on it. We don't know where it went. But we are able to operate through our own constitution. Each one of us has our own constitution. And whatever it is that you're seeking, desiring, and wishing to be, the miracles will be coming in. It'll be super fast. So we'll see you soon, and namaste.